Welcome to In Focus. When it comes to human trafficking, the numbers are staggering. Globally, human trafficking is estimated to be an over 150 billion, oh my goodness, dollar industry. That's more than Google, Amazon, and eBay combined. And there are an estimated 30 to 40 million trafficking victims on the earth today. Canada is not immune. There are 600 to 800 people smuggled into Canada for the purpose of exploitation every year. And the RCMP estimates the over 90% of human trafficking victims in Canada are already from Canada. But governments and at the federal and provincial level are taking steps to end this new modern-day slavery. Joining me once again to talk about the victim's plight is psychotherapist Pamela Young. Thank you, Pamela, for being here. You know, when you hear those statistics, there's a growth that's taking place in human trafficking.
It's really staggering. You heard the financial amount that can be gained, and it's a crime that is very difficult to get convictions with. So going through the courts and clamping down on it is very, very challenging.
You know, when we look at this, who are these girls? I mean, so many times we think it's somewhere else, but when we hear those statistics about right here in Canada, who are these girls?
You know, really, these are the girls next door. The average age for being pulled into the sex trafficking is 13 years. So there's a level of vulnerability that's there. There's a longing for acceptance and love that we all have and want. And so the traffickers are very aware of this and are very, very strategic in targeting their victims.
I know because even in Ontario, it's a gateway city and a lot of people come in. But what you're saying right now, this is more of a bedroom issue. It's something that's here. And as a frontline worker, you see these girls. Discuss the victim's journey and their plight.
Yeah, it can happen just being at the library, working at Starbucks. They are just living their life, and this guy comes along, you know, and it's called the Romeo Pimp. And, you know, he presents them with the dream, you know. I want to love you, I want to take care of you, buys gifts, and just really seduces and grooms her into this place of acceptance. And then it comes one little act of some nude photos or something, and he knows everything about her life, and that's used. You know, you do what I have to get you to do, or I will expose you and I'll expose your family. Your younger sister will be vulnerable. And so there's a real fear put in their mind that they are psychologically and even physically going to be hurt if they try to escape.
So what you're talking about is this manipulation, and behind this is a lot of money as well, because if you just kind of follow the dollars.
Yes.
You know, as a frontline worker, and you work in helping victims and actually get an opportunity to see how they're again, rehabilitated in a sense. Tell us, what's that process?
Well, it's a very long journey. They're coming in with very complex trauma. If they've been trafficked at the age of 13 and coming out at 16, that's 3 years. You know, they share with me that they could have to have a customer 10 times a day. So we know that at that point they've been raped over 9,000 times. So the level of trauma is enormous. And the other component too is it's a real culture that they go into. So when they come back out into mainstream culture, all the rules, the norms, the social way of coping and interacting is very different. And so to reintegrate back into mainstream, you know, the girl that got pulled in at the beginning is not the girl that's coming out, and she has a long, long road ahead. We know it's 3 to 7 years for a victim to come out and just go into that place of healing.
You know, when you said that, it was shocking, and it reminded me of Wilberforce when he brought slavery down. He brought attention to that because he brought some people next to a slave ship, and they wanted to cover their nose. He said, no, don't cover your nose. And smell and see the reality. How do we now get involved in this and translate this? Because I'm sorry, but that really just shook my spirit when you said that the times that they were violated as a father with a daughter. And when I see this, how do we get involved?
I think it's really important to remember that they are victims, and it's really linked to morals for a lot of people. There's a feeling that they made a poor choice, you know, they got themselves into this, and really to see them as Jesus sees them, you know, as broken individuals, and you know, they're told by their traffickers, society is going to judge you. People are going to think that you are dirt and are scum, and that's a lie. And I think you know, we need to begin to show that there is no judgment, and support them, come alongside, and just love unconditional and true love, not the false love that they've been manipulated with.
Practical detail. How do we get involved from a political standpoint?
Absolutely, it's advocating, it's raising awareness. This is something, it's not on the streets.
Okay.
It's, they're advertised online, so it's very hidden. So I think beginning to have the conversation, sharing with people what is happening, and finding agencies within the community that are in working with these survivors and supporting them is a great place to start.
Pamela Young, thank you. You know, there was a great quote from my ancestors: "Before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave." We'd like you to get involved in all of the statistics and everything that we quote. You can find it on our website at 700club.ca. Wow. Up next, the pornography industry and its ever-growing obsession among teenage girls. Take a look. Thank you.